That's interesting. Thank you for sharing that information. Hey y'all, it's Megan. If you are returning to my channel, welcome back, and if you're new, welcome aboard. If you follow me on Instagram, you already know, but the reason that I have been kind of MIA is we just got back from a 2-week trip to Hawaii for our 10th anniversary, and I'm gonna tell you all about it. I'm going to give you all of the fun things that we did. We did lots of hiking, there was lots of history, there was lots of food, so I will be letting those videos out as we go, and there's so much to share with you, and I'm so excited to do that. But today, it's gonna be a little bit of a different video for me. This is gonna be kind of like a ranty video. So if that's not your vibe, the next one will be a little bit more positive. But when I got back from the trip and went to work, this is how I answered the question. How was your trip? The trip was great, the travel sucked. So today we're focusing on the travel part. I just need to get this out because the travel, I have never had travel go like this. I've traveled a lot. My dad's job made it so that we traveled a lot. This is quite unusual. First thing, we booked through Costco. They have great travel packages, they have great customer service, and we always find that when we book, we book trips to Disney through Costco. My sister has booked trips through Costco. We wanted to book our trip to Hawaii through Costco because they handle all of the logistics of doing multiple islands. We wanted to go to Oahu and Maui. We did a week on each, and they handled, the rental car in both places, the inner island flight between the two, the flights to and from. All of it is handled in one package, and you don't have to do each individual piece. So, and you get a better deal on each individual thing because it's all kind of bundled. So we like booking through Costco, and we would recommend doing that still even after this experience. But we noticed the first thing that went wrong was after my husband booked the trip, he said, it's like, hey, we're going to Hawaii for our 10th anniversary, yay. And I'm so excited. And then we look at his confirmation email, and we don't have seats assigned for our flight to Hawaii. We're like, that's weird. He selected seats. He selected very specific seats. He went through and looked at every possible flight itinerary, and he picked the one that was going to be the least travel time for the best price. So it ended up being from where we live in Eastern time. It was going to be a 2-hour flight to Chicago, and then a 9-hour flight from Chicago directly to Honolulu. So that was going to be, the least amount of travel time. It's going to be right around 11 hours. And that's pretty good, especially because we were only gonna have a 1.5-hour layover in Chicago. So we were like, it's probably fine. It's summertime. There's not gonna be weather delays for snow or anything like that. So 1.5-hour layover is kind of short at O'Hare, but we were feeling pretty okay about it. So that was the plan. We call Costco and we're like, hey, we selected these seats. Why are they not showing up? Costco says, unfortunately, United doesn't automatically accept the seat selections that you request when you put in through us. They require sometimes that you contact them to request the seats. And I'm like, why? And why can't United just take the seats that we've booked? She logged on to they have a United interface that they can get onto and find seats for us, and she was able to find us 2 seats next to each other, so that worked out great. But then, y'all, tragedy struck the day that we were supposed to leave. We were supposed to fly out 7 a.m. Eastern time on the 16th of August. So we are up bright and early. My mom spent the night at our house to drop us off at the airport at 5 something. So we get to the airport at 5:30. We immediately, upon arrival, find out that our flight has been delayed. And we're like, what? How? It's the first flight of the day. How is it delayed? Here's how it was delayed. There was a mechanical issue. Okay, got it. I want my planes functional. I want all of the mechanical pieces operating. So I get it. The problem is it's delayed until 9 Eastern, which means a 2-hour flight from Eastern time to Chicago is going to get us there 30 minutes after our connecting flight takes off. And we're like, crap. Okay, so we're going to miss our connection. So now we have to figure out how to get on a different flight from Chicago to Honolulu. We are scheduled to get into Honolulu 1:30 p.m. Hawaii time. We go up to the checked baggage gate lady and we're like, okay, so we just got this text that like our flight is delayed. What are our options? They hand us a business card with a QR code on it and said, scan this and talk to an agent. And we're like, oh, okay, that's weird. So we scan the QR code and it pops up and it's like, do you want to talk to an agent? Do you want to text with an agent? Or do you want to video call with an agent? And Cameron's like, oh, well, talk to him, on the phone, because that's the fastest and easiest way to get things solved. So he clicks that. This is the one singular time that we actually talked to a human during this trip. So we get this agent on the phone after Cameron like goes through all the like verification stuff on the texting. Get to, can we just talk on the phone, please? And the guy's like, we can. Okay, fine. He like doesn't want to, but he does. So then Cameron talks on the phone to this guy and he's like, what can we do? What other flights can you get us on? Is there anything else going out of this airport that leaves earlier? Is there anything out of Chicago that's like, around the time that we're gonna get there? What can we do? And the person on the phone says, best case scenario is you leave right at 9, you get here, maybe that 9:30 flight, Chicago time, is delayed. Maybe you can still get on it because that is really the best option. And Cameron's like, yeah, I know, that's why I booked the one-stop flight to Hawaii, because that was like the best option. And he's like, so we're gonna leave that on your itinerary and just hope that you get, if you get there and you've missed it, then we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And Cameron's like, okay, I don't love not having a solid plan, but whatever. So we go back up to the gate and we're like, okay, here's our thing. We're gonna take the 9 o'clock flight. Here's our bag. And she says, well, you can't do that. We're like, we can't do what? She says, well, you don't have another flight when you get to Chicago scheduled. And we're like, no, we do. It's just like, we're kind of banking on it like being late as well. And she says, you can't do that. We can't let you on the flight here unless you definitely have a flight leaving Chicago. And we're like, okay. She goes, so I'm canceling that one and we'll put you on the one that's leaving later. We're like, okay, I guess if that's the only option. So she cancels our initial flight, puts us on a flight that leaves Chicago at like 1 p.m. We're like, well, that sucks, whatever. Check our bag, go through security, go and begin the sitting process. We're waiting until 9. 8:30 comes, we're not boarding. They send us a text and say, oops, sorry, this plane not gonna be ready anytime soon. So we're gonna try to get you a different plane. We're like, okay. So now we're supposed to leave at like 11, hopefully, if this other plane can get there. 11 comes and goes. About 12 o'clock we get actually, we can't get you a new plane. So we're gonna take the initial one. They're gonna fix it, but it's gonna be like 1 o'clock instead, if that's cool. And we're like, I mean, I guess. So we've been to the guy at the Dunkin' Donuts in the airport a couple of times. He remembers Cameron by name, so like kudos to that guy. So we go and we get a coffee and we're just chilling. We're here for the long haul. We wait. 1 o'clock comes and goes. We see the guy walk up with literally like an Amazon box. It wasn't Amazon, but it was like a delivery box with the part that needed to be replaced. It was a hydraulic pump. We got all of this information from the gate agent because the gate agents were like awkward standing there because they had already told us they knew about this problem the day before. They said, yeah, United knew that this plane couldn't go out yesterday at 2 p.m. when they sent it out, realized there was a hydraulic problem, had to bring it back and deplane. It's been sitting here for almost 24 hours. They knew that there was a problem. They didn't get you a different plane here. We don't know why. And we're like, oh, well, that's interesting. Thank you for sharing that information. Gate agents.
Still cooking.
Don't even speak that into existence.
Zoom in and see if you can see what it is.
No, I'm just filming so that even when we get to Hawaii, I can post our
We
progress
have this.
for while we've been sitting here.
It's not anyone that we can see. It's none of their fault. We are not those people who are standing there like yelling at gate agents and flight attendants and stuff. Like, they can't do anything. This is aimed at corporate. We just wait. We end up boarding and we leave somewhere in the neighborhood of like 2:30. We get to Chicago. We have 45 minutes to get across O'Hare and get to our connecting flight that they've scheduled for us. I'm getting like text updates about all of this. Haul through O'Hare. We get over there right as they are trying to like start the boarding process. We get boarded. Okay, we're good. We're gonna make this flight, which is then now going to LA. We're going to LA and then from LAX we're going to Honolulu. We're supposed to get in about 9 p.m. Okay. We're losing like 8 hours. Not the worst thing. We're still gonna get there today. Great. So we get on the flight. They come over the PA and they say, we're having a small issue. Don't worry, we're still gonna get off the ground. You are not gonna have any trouble making your connecting flights. The man said this. The pilot said, you are not gonna have any trouble making your connections. Do not worry. So we're all like, okay, fine. 15 minutes later, the storm of all storms rolls in. They had no idea. It didn't show up on the radar. I don't know where this storm came from. Apparently the Lord himself just like plopped it down over O'Hare. We sit for 2 hours on the tarmac in a big long line of planes that have completely shut off the engines. We are sitting there completely doing nothing. Meanwhile, we were supposed to have a 9-hour flight, which would have included meals. We were supposed to have like, the Hawai'i meal was like ricotta pancakes with pineapple or fruit and yogurt and stuff, and we were so excited about these meals. We didn't bring snacks. Now that's on me. I usually have snacks. Didn't today because we were supposed to have meals. So I have had a bagel from Dunkin' Donuts. That is all I've had today. It is now 4 p.m., 5 p.m. my time. I am starving. I cannot. We are so hungry. We have no snacks. They are not bringing water. We are just sitting on the tarmac for 2 hours. We finally take off. Well, now we're gonna miss our connection in LA because it was 2-hour connection, but now we have been delayed 3 hours and we are not going to make it. We get there 22 minutes after the flight takes off. 22 minutes. Okay, so now it is 8:30 p.m. in LA, which means that my body thinks that it is 11:30 p.m. I have had a bagel and a stroopwafel on the plane. That is all I have consumed all day. I am starving to death, and there are no more flights leaving from LA to Honolulu that night. So we are stuck at LA. Now, United did, I'm gonna give them their credit where I can, they did give us a hotel and they gave us some meal vouchers to feed us for the night. We got a total of 4 $15 meal vouchers, so $60 between the two of us to spend on dinner and breakfast the next morning. That did not cover all of our expenses. We still were out of pocket a little bit because things at LAX are pretty expensive, and like it only covers things at LAX or in like the hotels that you're being put up at. So hotel, like bar food, not the cheapest. Airport food, not the cheapest. So we still were out of pocket a little bit, but we did have a room. We were able to sleep. We were able to eat something finally. And I posted that picture on Instagram where you can see I was so excited to have this flatbread. I'm looking rough, but I was so excited to have this flatbread and go to bed. So wake up the next morning, go to LAX. Our flight actually leaves without a hitch. We get to Honolulu. That's great. Okay, so that's our first problem. We get to Honolulu about 11:45 local time, which is 22 hours past when we were supposed to get there. So we've lost basically a whole day. We have already paid for a rental car for that day. We've already paid for a hotel that day. So we're like, okay, we're already out like a little bit of money, but this is a 2-week trip. We've lost less than one whole day. It's gonna be okay. We're fine. It's gonna be great. We're gonna enjoy this now. So we kind of like push that off, forget about it, go about our vacation. We have a great time. Go to Maui. Maui's great. Now it's time to leave. Okay, we are flying out on Saturday the 30th. We are going to have a red-eye. We leave Kahului, Maui at 5 o'clock, fly to Chicago, that same 9-hour trip, and then we take a 2-hour hop back to our home airport. So we're supposed to get back about noon on Sunday the 31st. We get to the airport at about 2 o'clock on Saturday. We go through security, do all the stuff, get on the plane, boarding, perfectly on time. We're like, yes, this is finally going correctly. Kudos, good job, guys. We get on the plane and it is 5:05. We're supposed to take off at 5:10. We're like, we've not heard any kind of like announcements at all. There's been no pre-checks, there's been no nothing. At 5:08, someone comes over the message or over the intercom on the plane and they said, folks, we are so sorry. We don't have a pilot for this flight. It was a 100% booked, 0 open seats flight. So this whole gigantic, I think it was a 787 plane full of people. We have all been sitting here now for 45 minutes. And they said, we're gonna have to deplane and rebook you on a different flight. We don't have a pilot. We can't go out tonight. I'm sorry. What? How do you board the plane with no pilot. So my only assumption, and having now a few days of time to cool off, my only assumption is that there was a pilot and something went wrong, that the pilot had some kind of medical emergency or something. I hope they are okay. But at the moment, this was ungodly frustrating. So we get all of our crap and we walk off the plane. Everyone is yelling at everyone. I mean, everyone wanted to get home that night, obviously. This is not like, I didn't think I was special. This was not like I'm the only person who has been affected. But we also didn't like go yell at the gate agents who couldn't control this. There were some people who were getting real nasty. And PSA, don't do that. Like, no one at the airport is responsible most of the time for the calamities that strike. So like, be kind, especially to like the flight attendants, the flight crew. They don't want this to happen any more than you do. So deboard, we go get our checked bags, and we get a taxi to the hotel that they are. Again, United did put us up in a hotel again. And they again gave us 4 $15 meal vouchers, which in Hawaii, $15 gets you a bagel, like at a restaurant. So like, we were still out of pocket quite a bit. We used that $60 up quite quickly. We used it up at dinner, and then we still had to buy breakfast. So, and we weren't ordering filet mignon. I had a chicken sandwich with fries. My husband had a flatbread, and that like took us out. So just for an idea of how far that money actually goes. Like, we were grateful for it. It was something that they, you know, some recovery that they provided. Stay overnight. We get up the next day. Our next flight is not until 2 p.m. So we have lost a full day getting home. By the time we leave Kahului at 2 p.m. local time, that is 8 p.m. Eastern. So we were already supposed to be home 8 hours previous to when we actually finally left. So we get on the plane, we fly to Chicago. We have an 8.5-hour layover at O'Hare because we got in at 2:30 a.m. and there were no flights leaving O'Hare at 2:30 a.m. We quite literally could have driven home faster if we had rented a car. But again, United has no physical person you can speak to. We talked to 6 different people on the chat. None of them would pick up the phone. None of them would talk to us on the phone. We were just trying to find out, can we get a refund for this final leg of the trip? We will book a rental car. We will drive ourselves home. We will be home 4 hours earlier than we would be if we waited for this flight, and we will not have to sleep in a chair in O'Hare. They refused. They said, oh, we don't actually have possession of your ticket. Costco does, which is funny because Costco told me months ago that they didn't have possession. United did. This ticket is just like in the ether. I don't know how that can be possible, but neither one of them are able to offer a refund at this time. That being said, we did purchase travel insurance. They are getting us money back for all of these calamities. So if you take anything from this, is buy the $200 travel insurance, especially on a trip that is this extensive, because they will pay you back for all of the expenses that you incurred, all the food that we had to buy like at the airport, and anything outside of what they provided recovery for. All of that is going to be reimbursed, and they are working on reimbursing us for the loss of a day and the loss of the rental car and hotel on the front end, and also trying to get us some reimbursement for the fact that we booked a one-stop, home to Chicago to Honolulu, and in the reverse, and we ended up with multiple stops. We ended up going to Chicago, LA, then on, which is a worse itinerary, which would have cost less initially. So they are working through all of that. So we waited in O'Hare for close to 9 hours. That flight got off, we got home, and we tried really hard to stay awake and not fall asleep immediately, but we did end up taking a little nap because we got in at 3 p.m. and then I woke up at 5 a.m. the next day to go to work. So, woo, it's been a time. All that to say, I'm never flying United again. I will not. I was a Delta girly before. I am still a Delta girly. That just is what I'm comfortable flying. Now, everyone has a horror story from some airline, I'm certain, but mine is United, so they are dead to me. I am not flying United ever again, mainly because of the lack of communication. The fact that multiple gate agents said, we cannot talk to you, we will not talk to you, you have to use this agent on demand QR code thing. There was not a physical person in an airport at all that we could speak to get anything resolved. That, and the fact that the agents on demand would not talk on the phone, they would only chat, and at least twice it was AI, because it would say, what can I help you with? if I can't help you, I'll connect you to an agent. And Cameron would say, please do connect me to an agent. And it would say, what can I help you with? It would just be the same thing over and over and over. So I know it was AI. They swore up and down it wasn't, but a human would have not responded like the exact same thing over and over. They would have just helped us. That's that. That's my rant. What are your travel horror stories? I'm sure people have had much worse experiences than we did, because we did, you know, we eventually got home, and hindsight now, looking back at it, I'm like, okay, yeah, like people are dying, Kim. Things could be worse. But at the moment it was very frustrating, and I was on the verge of tears, and I was trying very hard to be a brave little toaster, but it worked out, and we did have a wonderful trip. So like I said, I look forward to sharing all of those adventures with you in a few videos coming up, but I just wanted to go ahead and get all of the negative out in one little rant so that we can focus on the positive parts of the trip. So let me know what your travel horror stories are down below so that I can feel not alone in this, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, y'all. It's a pet relief place. At least maybe someone will walk down here with a dog. Who knows? Just vibing. Positive vibes. We'll figure it out.